Welcome. We're going to go through a Pilates routine for releasing your spine and the muscles of the back. Start off lying on your back. Have your feet about as wide as your mat or a bit wider than your hips, and your arms a little bit wider than your shoulders, and then just rock your knees from side to side. So you're massaging across the soles of your feet to the inner edge of the foot, to the outer edge of the foot. Massaging across the back of your pelvis to the outer hip. Turning your head the opposite way to where your knees go, so you massage across the back of your head too. Do that one more time each way. And then when you come back into centre, stay in the centre and bring your feet in a little bit narrower. Draw the knees one at a time into your chest, so you're using the support of your hands to bring the second one in. And then one hand on each knee. Inhale as your knees move away from your chest, so your arms will straighten. And exhale as you pull your knees towards your chest. Keep doing that with your breath. Inhaling, knees move away. Exhaling, knees pull in. And while you move your knees in and out, see if you can keep the rest of your back nice and flat on the ground. So there's a slight tuck of your chin, your neck is long. You're trying to draw both shoulders back and down to the mat, especially when you pull your knees in. And try and keep your hips close to the ground as you draw your knees in. And then knees in this time, keep hold of your right knee and lay your left leg flat on the floor. So you're holding that right knee and circle your right ankle as full a circle as you can, so you're mobilising your ankle. And then go the other way. And then relax the ankle. Keep hold of the knee or the shin and lift your head and shoulders up off the ground. Try and draw your chest toward the thigh in a central direction. And then you either just pause here, or if you're a little stronger in your abdominal muscles, you can extend your arms and maybe even lift the straight leg a few inches off the ground and hold for 3 breaths. We're going to point and flex the feet for those 3 breaths. So inhale as you point, exhale as you flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. One more, chest stays lifted. And as you flex your feet, return back down to the ground. Take your left hand onto that right knee and take your right arm out to the side with the palm upwards. And then just guide the knee over to the side, to the floor, to the left side. And look out towards your straight right arm. So you're just letting the back of the pelvis lift and you're rolling over to the edge of your left hip. Trying to keep the back of your shoulders and your straight arm on the floor. Come back into centre. Keep hold of that knee and bring the other knee back in. So we're back into that first position where we inhale, knees go away, and exhale, knees pull in. Do that 4 more times. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, knees in. Trying to keep your bottom pushing away from you as you pull your knees towards you. So on this last one, keep hold of your left knee and straighten your right leg. And circle the left ankle round. And again, nice full circles. Then we'll just change direction. So we often forget about mobilising the smaller joints. So really work into your ankles. They work so hard to keep us up all day. And then relax the foot. Lift your head and shoulders, and if you can, try and draw your chest toward the inner edge of the leg, so you're coming in a central direction. And maybe you'll extend the arms, and maybe you'll lift the straight leg off the ground. If you do that and your back suddenly pops up off the floor or it causes pain in your back, then don't lift the leg. Point, flex, 2 more, point, flex, and 1 more, point, and flex. Return back to the ground and take your right hand onto the bent knee, your left arm out to the side, and this time you're bringing your knee over toward the right. So it's a little bit like a diagonal twist, knee going diagonally over the body. Look out to your straight arm. And then you come back into centre, both knees back up into the chest. And then pop both feet onto the floor. Turn onto your side, probably to face the video to begin with so that you can see me for the first side. And pop something under your head so that your head is about in line with the spine still. So I'm using a folded blanket, but a block or anything that fits the gap between your head and the ground will do. Bend your knees right up in front of your hips and straighten your arms out in front of you with your palms together. And just check in that the spine feels nice and long, your head feels in line with your spine. We're going to do a circle with this top arm. So circle so your fingertips just trail along the ground and circle round behind you. Let your head roll on your blanket. Circle all the way down behind you, so your arm's going to come back over the hip, and then you come round with your hands back together. Do 4 more of those. Inhale as you do the first half of your circle, and exhale as you do the second half of your circle, so you end up finishing the exhale with your hands together. Inhale first half, let your head roll, let your chest turn. Exhale second half, and your head and your chest turn back to centre. Inhale 2 more. Exhale. And 1 more. Inhale first half. Your legs really aren't moving much at all. And exhale, bring your arms back around together. Good, and then push up onto your hands and knees. So you'll be facing the blanket on the floor, but your hands are about as wide as your shoulders, knees about as wide as your hips. And do some nice cat arches where we just release the spine, pushing up toward the ceiling, and then releasing the spine, looking forwards as you lengthen your bottom back. And then again, pushing your spine up toward the ceiling, rounding your spine like a cat would, stretch its spine, and then releasing that down. So we're going to do 2 more of those. See if you can really feel as much movement through your spine as possible, so you're getting a stretch in the front of your spine when you look forwards, and you get a stretch in the back of your spine as you round up. Let's do 1 more. Inhale as you look forwards, lengthening the front of your spine. Exhaling as you round your spine up toward the ceiling. And then a flat back position. And in your flat back, look just slightly ahead of the hands on the ground. And try and make your back flat so that the ribs tuck up towards your flat back and your belly tries to press flat against your back. And then extend opposite arm and opposite leg away, and trying to maintain your balance without your tummy dropping to the ground. Bring that arm and leg back in again, and can you make sure you keep your balance as you switch to the other arm and leg. Inhale as you bring your hand and knee to the floor, and exhale, swap to the other side, and carry on like that. So you want to imagine maybe if someone was to put a pea or a marble on the back of your pelvis, and as you extend your opposite arm and opposite leg away, you try not to let that marble roll off the side. So you're really being careful about your placement on the ground, and feel your tummy almost like it's trying to pull up towards that marble sitting on the back of your pelvis. Good, we'll do 1 more each side, opposite arm, opposite leg, extend away. And then last one. As that hand and knee come back to the floor, we're going to turn onto your other side. So you'll just turn around with your back towards me maybe. I'm going to turn around so that I can still see you. Palms come together, knees up in front of your hips. And again, check your back straight and you've got some support underneath your head. And we start those chalk circles again. So inner knees are touching. Start your fingertips trailing along the ground above you. See if your fingers can stay close to the ground as you work your way around the circle. And all the way over your hip, hands come back together. 4 more of those. Inhale first half. Exhale second half. Start your fingers touching the ground and then see how much of that circle you can maintain your touch to the ground. And for most of us, our fingertips will come away from the ground when we start to open the arm behind. But you're just maybe going soft in your wrist, soft in your elbow, so that you're assisting the circling of the arm. Remember to roll your head and to turn your chest. 1 more, roll your head on your block, turn the chest to the ceiling. And then as your hands come round back together again, we're staying there. And again, push back up, and we'll just move that blanket out of the way now as you come back onto your hands and knees. We're doing threading the needle. So if you take your hands a tiny bit further forwards than your shoulders and a tiny bit wider than your shoulders, leave your left hand on the floor and open your right arm, turning your chest and maybe taking your gaze up to that lifted arm. And then thread the arm underneath your body. You're going to bend the left elbow so you lower yourself to almost touch the ground. Inhale as you open the arm, turn your chest. And exhale as you lower, bending your left elbow like you're doing a push-up with that left arm. Inhale as you open, carry on doing those. Exhale as you thread your arm under. And do that 1 more time. See if you can really keep your left palm spread. So when you lower yourself to the ground, your hands, your fingers stay on the floor, and stay there this time. So you're going to land on your right shoulder and your right ear and straighten your left arm up to the top of the mat. See if you can reach your fingertips toward the top of the mat. Your hips are nice and high and you're just drawing the hips back away from that reaching arm. Bend the left arm, push back up onto your hands and knees. Let's do the other side. So your right hand is the one that's going to stay to the floor. Turn your chest to the left, lifting the left arm. And then thread the left arm under, bending your right arm so you're almost landing on the floor. Inhale as you open, turn your chest. Exhale as you thread. Remember to keep your right palm flat and spread. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you thread. And again, inhale, open. Exhale, thread, and we'll do one more of those. See how close to the ground you can get. Your next one you're actually going to thread through and stay there and land on the shoulder, the ear, and reach your right arm up to the top of the mat. And if your hips feel like they've swung out to the side a little, just feel both hips pulling back equally. Like they're pulling straight back to the top corner of the room behind you. Bend your right arm, push back up onto your hands and knees. And then we'll take the hands a bit forward, further forward than the shoulders again and come into what's called a downward facing dog. So we're going to lift the hips up. You might keep your knees a little bit bent in order to get your arms and your waist nice and long to begin with. Let your head hang loosely. And then for some of you who are a little more flexible, maybe you'll start to roll back with the heels and your legs might straighten out a bit more. But don't worry about having to have your legs straight. You might initially, when you're still working with your downward dog, or if your back's more sensitive, keep a bend in the knees. Lowering your knees down to the ground and sit back into a child's pose with your arms reaching in front. So your bottom sits to your heels, rest your forehead on the ground. If you've got any shoulder issues or if you're very tight around your neck, you might just relax the arms so the elbows drop to the ground, bending your arms in a little. Otherwise, reach your arms out energetically in front of you so you're making the sides of your body nice and long. Take another breath there. We're going to step both hands off the right side of your mat or over to the right. Shuffle your body a little bit over your right thigh. So think of having a nipple either side of your thigh. And then reach long through your left arm. So the hips haven't actually moved. We're just making that left side a bit longer. Relax your head between the arms. I like to claw the ground with my fingertips to try and get that left arm a bit longer. We'll do the other side. So bring your body, so a nipple either side of your left thigh. Hands just off the left side of your mat. And it's the right side of your body that we're actually stretching. So get your right fingertips to claw the ground. Maybe take a deep breath into your right side so you feel your right lungs expanding. I said right lungs, you haven't got more than one right lung. So just breathe into that right lung. And then back up onto your hands and knees. So we're going to sit the bottom to the left of the heels, so your feet are toward the right side. And if you can just let the top ankle rest in the bottom instep of the foot. And then twist round to your left. So you'll place your right hand on the left thigh and then just start to turn your chest and look over the back shoulder. Just a gentle twist. And then come back into centre. Simply switch so your legs swing over to the other side. And again, see if you can get your top ankle or your shin to rest in the bottom instep. Place your left hand onto your right thigh, right hand behind. And again, sitting tall and a nice twist through the spine. Nice and open through your chest. Relaxed in your head, just gazing over the back shoulder. And then you come back into centre. We're going to bring the legs in front of you. Coming down onto your back. So this next one's really nice for neutralising and helping with any tightness or imbalance in your lower back and your pelvis. Bring your right knee into your chest, keep your left leg bent on the ground. Point the right knee to your right shoulder. And then lift the right foot toward the ceiling, still with your right knee next to the right shoulder. Reach your arm inside the knee, over the top of your foot, so that's the bony part of your foot, and hold the outer edge of your foot. And then see if you can just pull the knee close to the shoulder so you're actually pulling on the sole of your right foot. Keep that, and then maybe you can straighten your left leg. It might not fully straighten, it probably won't, but it's aiming to reach out nice and long. I like to put my left hand onto my left leg so I can really kind of help that left leg to feel longer. Keep pulling, so it's like you've got the ceiling resting on the sole of your right foot, and the ceiling's becoming heavier as you pull that right foot in. And then hug that right knee into your chest, bend your left leg back on the ground, and we'll switch the leg over. So right foot down, left knee in, point the knee towards your left shoulder. Lift the foot toward the ceiling, like you've got the ceiling on the sole of the foot. Take your left arm inside the knee, over the top of your foot, so the bony part of your foot, and hold the outer edge of your foot. And again, just either stay there, or you can encourage that right leg to lengthen away. If that feels too intense, then keep it bent, that's absolutely fine. And then as you just pull on that left foot, you're trying to draw the knee closer down to the outside edge of your left shoulder. If you're super flexible, your knee might even almost get toward the ground. If you can't hold the foot, you can always use like a strap or something around your foot. If you've got a scarf, that would do too. So we neutralise the knee, just hug it back into your chest. Bend your right leg on the floor, and then let's bring both knees in. See if we can do that with both arms inside the legs. Go over the top of your feet and hold the outside edge of your feet. And then your feet and your knees now are about the same distance apart. Pull your knees down toward the ground. So for a lot of us, our bottoms might lift. Just try and reach the bottom down toward the bottom end of the mat so the spine gets nice and long on the floor. Tuck the chin in a little. And it's called a happy baby pose, this. So if you think of yourself like a baby just really comfortable with this position and just playing around a little on your back, maybe rocking a little side to side. And it's good to introduce a little bit of movement, but then just to finish it off, we want to get back into a deep position there. So pull the hips down, draw your knees wide, feet pulling away from the ceiling. Neutralise both knees just back into the chest in a regular knee hug, and pop your feet to the floor. That blanket you had underneath your head earlier, or whatever it was you used, can you now put that underneath the back of your pelvis? Maybe a little bit lower so it's more under your bottom. And then straighten out your legs. And if that's too intense, do it without your hips lifted. Make sure your hips feel even, so you've not got one hip a lot higher than the other. Whatever you're using should be under both buttocks. And you can rest with your arms by your side, or if you want a little bit more stretch through the back and through the whole body, let your arms rest behind you. Close your eyes. And we're lengthening the front of your body here, and your spine needs to be lengthened in all directions. Otherwise certain areas will get tighter and certain areas will get more flexible. So just think now that you're letting your tummy extend and relax, you're letting your hip flexors extend and relax. Take a couple more deep breaths. As you exhale, feel your abdomen dropping away from the surface of the skin. One more deep breath. And as you exhale, the groin drops away from the surface. Bring your arms back down by your side. You can stay there longer if you're really enjoying that. Otherwise, bend your knees, remove the blanket, and then roll your bottom down so your spine is nice and long as it returns back to the floor. And you might just rest your hands on your tummy and take a couple more deep breaths here. Feel your belly rise into your hands as you inhale. Feel your belly fall as you exhale. One more deep breath. And again, you stay there as long as you like. And if your back is a little uncomfortable lying in this position, why not try putting a chair underneath your legs and resting your calves and your heels on a chair? That's really relieving for your lower back if it's particularly sensitive. So thank you very much. And I've got a few more videos that you can maybe follow on from or use another time. Hope to see you again soon.